Greetings, my friend. Today, I'm answering another question from the RDP mailbag, basically asking me, Matt, I'm a Shaolin Kung Fu practitioner, and in between all my classes and bag work and iron palm and everything else that I'm doing, I find that I have no time, no energy, no motivation. What do I do for strength and conditioning with hypertrophy and building muscle as my goal? Now, I know the common rhetoric out there is a lot of people are like, no excuses. It doesn't matter if you don't have time or energy or motivation. You just gotta do it. Just gotta make yourself do it and be disciplined and force yourself to do these things and train at 2 a.m. and all these sorts of things. But is that really practical advice? Because getting in shape, like everything else in life, has to abide by some degree of basic economics. It takes time, it takes energy, takes money, motivation is another resource, and at the end of the day, if you just don't have much of these things, what in the world are you going to use to create an effective strength and conditioning program that places more demand on those resources? Well, there's a couple of things that you can do. First and foremost is you just simply have an approach that doesn't take up much time, energy, and motivation. That's like my micro workouts approach. You can get a lot more than you think out of just 3 or 4 minutes of physical activity in. Don't underestimate what you can do with 2 sets of good, hard, strict pull-ups, push-ups, or squats. And usually when I find my time is really on a low end of things, I'll just simply downshift to a really efficient approach where I'll do like a push-pull squat approach, 1 for each day, where on day 1, I'll have 1 compound pushing exercise I do, like push-ups or dips. Day 2 will be 1 compound pulling movements, either a row or a pull-up variation. And then day 3 is 1 compound squatting chain kind of thing, lunges, pistol squats, that sort of thing. And I'll do 2 hard sets of each, maybe have a warm-up set or something beforehand, and then just call it there at that 2 sets, which does a lot more than people think. And since the goal here is hypertrophy, challenging that work capacity, pushing yourself to a good degree of fatigue, will create some degree of a stimulus. Now, does that mean you won't make progress? No, it just means that you're going to make progress at a little bit of a slower rate. But it doesn't mean that you have to do a lot of work in order for your workouts to count, because that's one of the biggest myths in fitness, is that your workout only counts if you do enough work. But you don't get an effective workout from how much work you do. You get an effective workout by creating a stimulus. And it doesn't take a whole lot to effectively create some degree of a stimulus that you then adapt to. And I know that's not going to take a whole lot of time and energy, so you can throw in a body weight bodybuilding kind of movement, you tricep extensions, bicep curls, hamstring curls, something to just kind of target a muscle. And again, that can be just something that is in that group. So if I did pull-ups, then I would do a couple sets of hard bicep curls. So that's 4 total sets of an exercise and be done with it. And if I do like a 3-day split, then I'm going to hit that twice in a week. And that's 4 there, that's 8. That's going to be enough volume to still do something. Another approach can simply be to make time and energy and stuff. That's another thing that a lot of coaches will say is like, well, you got to make the time, you got to make the energy and so on, which can be easier in some applications than others, but sometimes we can do it, largely because it's not so much about, not watching Netflix or less time on social media and stuff, but looking at what you're already doing in the martial arts or in your sports practice and taking a little bit of a cost to benefit assessment of where you're putting your resources into that may not be paying off. For example, as a martial artist myself, I made a lot of progress going from 1 class a week to 2 classes a week. And then I went to 3 classes and then 4 and then 5. And sometimes at the peak of my career, I would even do 6 classes a week. But if I was really honest with myself and I took an assessment of what was paying off, I really wasn't getting that much better when I went from like 3 to 4 and especially not 5 to 6 classes per week. So if you look at what you're doing as an athlete or a martial artist and you're like, okay, I'm running 30 miles a week, does it really matter if you're only running 20 miles a week? And in many cases, you'll probably find that, you're putting in a lot more effort. So you have exponentially higher costs with those additional classes or practice sessions that you're doing. But is it worthwhile? And if not, you can drastically cut back on those things or even eliminate 1 or 2 things entirely and then put those time and energy and motivation resources towards your strength and conditioning. And then lastly, and third, one of the things that I encourage you to do is just do a little bit of an assessment of what are your priorities with your physical training. Because as the old saying goes, you can have anything you want, you just can't have it all at once. And a lot of times when you see individuals with amazing physiques or amazing levels of performance on social media and stuff, that's really cool, but they're not trying to be the best sprinters, the best lifters, the best archers, the best bowlers, champion dart league members, origami masters. They're not doing 20 million things. They got one thing, which usually means that they're awesome at that thing you see on social media, but they suck and they're terrible at everything else. So it's about reestablishing your priorities. Like, yeah, back in the day, maybe you wanted to be the best possible martial artist you could be, but maybe now you're saying, yeah, but I kind of want to get a little bit more into bodybuilding or a little bit more into physique development, which is going to be extremely resource intensive. So you downshift your martial arts training to once or twice a week, and you make slower progress there, but faster progress in the other areas. There's a lot of power that comes from saying, I don't care if I'm not single digit body fat. It's not important to me to not have a super strong deadlift or to be able to do 10 muscle ups in a row. The more you can say, no, that's not really a priority to me, the more you can prioritize and put your resources towards the things that are important for you and your personal wants and needs. Best of luck in your workouts this week, my friend. Be fit and live free.